everybody, my name is MinecraftPlaysRoblox. Nobody ever heard those words. They came from a video that was never uploaded. I was about 8 years old, and almost every afternoon I'd jump into a Roblox game, I would press record, and I would pretend that I was already a famous YouTuber. And most of the time I wasn't even making real videos, and I was just imagining them in my head. I'd spend hours playing Minecraft, watching creators like Stampy Longnose, and pretending that I was on the same kind of adventure. My brother and I would record videos just for fun, but in my head, they felt like something much bigger. And that's why I don't think my YouTube story started with my first upload. I think it started much earlier, with a kid who couldn't stop imagining what it would be like to be a creator.
Alright, before this video starts and I get Douglas, aka my new friend up in here. This girl, guys, she called me, she said my ugly... How's it going, everybody? My name is Narwhal. Welcome back to another. So today, it is my YouTube channel's birthday. What's going on, boys and girls? My name is Adam, and today we are going to be playing Bloxburg once again.
What's up, guys? My name is Dowoge, and welcome back to another. Hey guys, sorry for the spotty editing in today's video. We all want to.
What do you do with a broken game? A game that's gone, dead, cashed in its chips. It's all over. My heart surgery was a success, and I'm in the ICU. By 2015, pretending wasn't enough anymore. I wanted a real YouTube channel, and so I made one. It was called Adam News, and looking back, the name didn't really make much sense. It wasn't necessarily a news channel at all. The idea was that it could just be anything we wanted it to be. It was me, my brother Alex, and our friend Cameron. We would talk about Five Nights at Freddy's, Minecraft, Roblox, gaming news, whatever happened that week, or just whatever sounded interesting that day. Well, at least that was the plan. We recorded our first episode, and there was just one problem. I had no idea how to upload it, but thankfully my cousin Kira did. She showed me how YouTube worked, and just like that, my first video was online.
This is Adam from Adam News. This is a new channel, and here is my brother and my friend. Hi! Oh my god.
Hello.
And my friend. My name's Cameron. Get out of the camera.
I see.
And look what we're watching. Kirby.
Oh, we're watching me.
Ah!
November 27th, 2015 is where this story really starts. And there it was. Honestly, I don't remember what I was trying to kind of come across in that video, but I remembered just how it felt. I had finally done it. I was a YouTuber. And then I forgot the password. Yeah, seriously, that was the end of Adam News. My first YouTube career had lasted just about as long as the video itself, made by a 10-year-old. However, one thing that you'll notice throughout this documentary is that I restart a lot. So after Adam News disappeared, I did what would eventually become a pattern. I started over. This time, I tried something different. I made a Roblox account called MinecraftLover8881. And not long after that, I created another YouTube channel in August of 2016. MinecraftPlaysRoblox YT, roleplays, and more. Well, I mean, it wasn't exactly a creative name, but it didn't need to be. It was another chance. And most of my early uploads were just simple gameplay videos using the Roblox screen recorder. Chaos washers, Roblox games, just whatever sounded fun after school was over. The audience was mostly my friends, but at the time that was just more than enough. I'm gonna be so famous. My oldest video starts with a sentence that still makes me laugh. My little Roblox character, he looks straight to the camera and he goes, "I'm gonna be so famous." And I meant every word. Not because I wanted money, not because I wanted attention, but when you're 10 years old, being a YouTuber just feels like the coolest job in the world. Of course, I didn't know anything about editing or thumbnails or algorithms. I just knew I wanted to make videos because videos were my passion. And, well, that Roblox account didn't last forever. Eventually it was hacked, and everything that I had built up disappeared. So, I made another account. MinecraftPlaysRoblox 18. Well, I barely remember that one right now. It was more of a stepping stone than anything else. I'm not sure what really happened to it, but I think I just kind of stopped using that account. Before long, I started over again. This time as MinecraftPlaysRoblox YT. I remember to this day being ridiculously excited just because my username ended with YT. To me, I guess that made it official in some way. It didn't matter that I probably had fewer than 20 subscribers. I felt like a real YouTuber. The next few years were almost entirely Roblox. Prison life, Redwood Prison, Chaos Washers, Roblox and Pool, random roleplays with friends. There was this one hospital roleplay in particular that still makes me laugh when I think about it. It was not very good. It was at the beginning of my YouTube channel, but I loved making roleplays. My production quality wasn't great, and the acting definitely wasn't great, but none of that mattered to me because every upload kept teaching me something that even if I didn't realize it at the time, I was making something beautiful. Back then, I thought I was just making Roblox videos, but at the time, I didn't realize I was learning skills that I would end up using for years. Before I knew it, I learned how to tell a story, how to hold someone's attention and make people laugh, how to finish a project even when it wasn't perfect. None of those things even crossed my mind when I was recording. I was just a kid who was just trying to become a YouTuber. I had no way of knowing that this was only the beginning. Looking back, even at the beginning of my YouTube videos, I always wanted to kind of follow everybody else. So, I remember very early on in my YouTube career, I think at the time I had around 10 subscribers, I decided to celebrate with a 10 subscriber face reveal. I remember being surprisingly nervous, even though almost everyone watching already knew me from school. One thing I wanted to make sure to point out was that I did not actually look like my Roblox avatar. Back then, my character was a walking rainbow. Every arm, every leg, and every part of it was a different color. Not because I had some deep creative choice, but I just did not have any Robux. It was the best outfit I could come up with using the free items and resources that Roblox gave you. So, I felt I needed to clarify in said video that I am not actually a rainbow. And looking back, it's honestly kind of funny that I thought 10 subscribers was enough to justify a face reveal. But to me, I could understand that putting 10 people in a room was quite a lot. And if I wanted to be like the YouTubers I looked up to, a face reveal was my next step. When I started making videos, I never really used my voice at all. Sometimes I did, but sometimes I didn't. And part of that was because I was shy. The other part was because I genuinely did not know how. Talking to a microphone felt kind of strange because who was I even talking to? There wasn't really much of an audience yet. Just a few friends from school who would watch whenever I uploaded something new. And then, something changed. One day, I downloaded a program called Bandicam. At the time, it was just another screen recorder. I had no idea that it was about to change the way I made videos. And before Bandicam, my uploads were just gameplay. But after Bandicam, I had a microphone and a webcam, and for the first time, people could actually hear my voice in a way that wasn't just pointing my camera at a screen with one hand and playing with the other. The first video where I spoke legitimately was a game of prison life with my brother. And I still to this day remember one line from it, because it sticks with me. My real name is Adam. That was it. It wasn't anything dramatic or a big reveal. It was just a kid saying his name. But it felt for the first time that there was somebody behind the username. And not long after that, the channel reached 30 subscribers. 30. Today, that number sounds tiny, and it probably sounds tiny to you guys as well, but back then, it felt unfreaking believable. 30 real people had chosen to subscribe to something that I'd made. Every new subscriber was a real person behind that screen. They had an identity. Every comment felt like somebody was stopping by to tell me that they enjoyed this video. That feeling has never disappeared from me. And as the channel slowly grew, I started thinking about my name. Or at least as much as an 11-year-old at the time could think about branding. MinecraftPlaysRoblox YT -RolePlays and more wasn't exactly enough and easy to remember, so I just shortened it to MinecraftPlaysRoblox YT. It felt cleaner, just a little simpler, but I was only beginning to figure things out. I had no idea that changing my channel name would eventually become one of my favorite hobbies. Around that time, I became obsessed with making these silly little movie trailers. Well, not even movies, they were just trailers. I'd open iMovie, throw together some dramatic music, flashy titles using their presets, and I would end everything with a giant "coming soon." And the movies never existed, of course, it was only the trailers. And at the time, it was just something that I would experiment with and have fun. And years later, I realized that these silly little trailers were really teaching me how to build excitement, edit, and just tell a story in just a couple of minutes. Of course, I didn't know that yet. Bandicam made me want to try everything. I wasn't recording Roblox, I started making Minecraft videos, tutorials, surgery games, random just experiments playing the game. If I watched another creator do something interesting, I would usually end up trying my own version of it. I didn't have a plan for anything. I didn't want subscribers. This was just a fun idea after school. Then, one day, specifically February 12th, 2017, I spent a few Robux on a game called Welcome to Bloxburg. I had somebody who recommended the game to me, but we'll talk about them in just a second. Nothing really seemed special about this game at the time, despite the fact that my friend wanted me to play it, but if I could go back and tell my younger self one thing, it would be this. Do not underestimate this game. Because without Bloxburg, there wouldn't be a Motorplex, there wouldn't be a Motorplex Misadventures, and more importantly, there wouldn't be a movie. It is so strange how one small decision can just quietly figure out everything that comes after it. And around that same time, I met somebody who had the username named HyperSnuggly. Now listen, I've had a lot of friends that have shown off on this channel, like Awesome Girl, Cool MC Nix, or even that one girl named Kills. But this one was just something different. Believe it or not, the reason we met is because I showed her how to hide underneath a table in prison life. It was just simple to me. I want to keep this chapter short because I really want to say how much I appreciate her. Of course, we've had our moments between being friends and being enemies. We've gotten into smaller arguments, but overall, we've, at this point, remained distant friends. And I just find it so funny now how it started with a video game about hiding, about prison, and it turned into this big thing, and to the point where we even met in real life. I find that just so cool how you can do that. It's just so weird and so awesome. And if you're watching this video, thanks. For some reason, at the same time, I also became obsessed with Roblox toys, more specifically the Jazzwares figures. At first, I guess I collected them because I thought they looked cool, and I started making stop-motion videos with them. I would record these little stories, I would sometimes even voice characters. I would film unboxings of them, or just really anything I could think of. A lot of it was inspired by Roblox's official stop-motion animations. So, of course, naturally, I wanted to make my own. And looking back now, I still find those really impressive at the time because I was making movies, I was voicing characters, and I didn't really think that I was doing all this. I thought I was just having fun. Then one day, I uploaded a video that I don't really know if it was wanting to, I didn't know it was going to become anything, really. I think it was just a one-off idea, a joke. It's the kind of thing that you make once and then you just don't do again. The character's name was Villager number 18. I didn't give him really much of a backstory or lore. I didn't think I wanted him to even be a character. I just wanted him to be one-off. I guess he was just funny in a way. People loved him. He had that kind of voice to him that you really kind of like. And his voice was, of course, inspired by the Element animation villagers, because I was also obsessed with them as well. And people loved him, so I made another video. And then another, and then another. And before long, he had become an actual character on my channel. And I think this might have been the first time I had really built a universe on my channel. And, by the way, if you've noticed a pattern by now, I have a huge habit of coming up with ideas that turn into big things. So, please get ready for that. There's a strange feeling that comes with uploading videos to YouTube. For quite a long time, it really feels like you're talking to nobody. Well, you are talking to nobody. You're talking to a camera or a screen. That is until you hit upload. And a couple of friends might watch, maybe somebody you know might leave a comment. Then you do it all over again. You hit upload, someone leaves a comment, you get another idea, you make another video. You never really expect shit to change, right? Until one day you always make something and it just explodes overnight. This is a very special chapter to me because around 2017 I had a very, definitely not my favorite YouTuber, but he was up there. His name was Your MC Admin. And like a lot of kids, I watched every one of his uploads. He made music. And one day, I decided to make a reaction video to one of his songs. And there wasn't much thought behind it. It was actually, I think, one of the first times I made a thumbnail. Maybe the first time I made a thumbnail using Paint.net. And, well, that's besides the point. I thought it would be fun, is what I'm saying. I thought it was just going to be simple. And then something happened that I never thought would ever happen in these 10 years. He watched the video, and not only that, he made a reaction, and then on the video, he subscribed to my channel and told other people to subscribe to my channel, and that was my everything. This was somebody I would spend hours watching on YouTube, and somebody knew for once that I existed.
Hey folks, your MC Admin here, and today we're gonna be reacting to MCPlays reacting to the 1.12 song.
That simple reaction video ended up becoming the biggest video I had ever made, ever. At least up until that point. Hundreds of people had watched it. Comments started showing up from people I've never met before. Some, of course, were really kind, and others were not so kind. And until then, almost everyone who had watched my videos already knew me. Friends from school, people I played games with. And now, complete strangers had opinions about my work. Some loved it, some didn't. And that was my first lesson, that putting your work online means accepting that not everyone is going to like it. October 8th, 2017. I remember it vividly. I woke up one morning to see a number that was so unfathomable at the time. And to hit that in only 1 year of making videos was crazy. 1 100 subscribers. The channel was actually growing now. I remember staring at the number for way longer than I probably should have. 3 digits at the time, to me, felt impossible. 100 people, 100 real humans, maybe, had chosen to subscribe because they wanted to see what I would make next. And I didn't know how to celebrate. So, I made another video, of course.
Guys, yesterday we hit 100 subscribers. This is just a dream come true.
I made a silly little roller coaster, which, of course, it wasn't the best, but at the time, it was my, at the time, 11-year-old self's way of just thanking everybody. Because, 100 people is crazy. YouTube and the internet just has such a cool way of connecting people. And I think it was pretty beautiful. On March 25th, 2018, I uploaded another project that I assumed, of course, would be a one-off. A little Five Nights at Freddy's fan film. Nothing too serious. It was called Five Nights at Narwhals. There wasn't some huge plan behind it. I thought it would be fun to make. And it's, if you haven't caught on by now, the inspiration of Five Nights at Dowoges, which is to this date my biggest film. And of course, people ended up loving it, so I kept building on it. Villager Routine got more lore, then he had a family, then a father, and this world kept getting bigger, and around the same time I created another character. A little narwhal that sat on someone's shoulder. His name was Douglas. Well, he was around in the background, but of course, I actually gave him a voice, and it sounded like this. Originally, he wasn't necessarily supposed to be important, and then, over time, he went the way of Villager Routine and became one of the most recognizable characters I had ever made. And by this point, I should have probably accepted that none of my one-off ideas are ever going to stay one-offs. And somewhere along the line during that, my channel passed 15,000 total views. It was really cool at the time. Seeing this channel that I built just grow and grow and grow. It was like owning a farm, it felt like. It was such rewarding work to me. And I couldn't even picture what 15,000 people looked like. The idea that people I had never met, people that I would probably never meet, were spending part of their day watching something that I made in my bedroom. It's so crazy. Then came another one of my projects. A friend and I made a kid-friendly parody of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I mean, I get it sounds ridiculous, but the idea was kind of simple. Take one of the weirdest series on the internet and somehow make it kid-friendly, for reasons I still can't fully explain. It worked again, blowing up overnight. Way beyond anything that I've ever experienced before. And for the first time, one of my videos reached an audience that was above the Your MC Admin video, literally stretching way far outside the people who already knew me. Now, unfortunately, if you do know the true story, that's not the end of it. The friend who helped me make the video believed I was making money off of the video because of how well it performed, and they started asking me for money over and over, and eventually those conversations became arguments, and in the end, of course, I blocked him. And up until then, YouTube has kind of always been simple for me. Make videos, have fun, move on to the next idea. And this was the first time I'd ever been blackmailed from a video that I had made. And this was the first time that YouTube had spilled into my very personal life. The first time that I also realized that success, even on a small scale, can change relationships for the worse. After that, something's starting to change. I often found myself checking the numbers way more often. I was checking my views, my subscribers. I was checking about what comments I had. And I wasn't thinking about money, of course. I just wanted more people to see what I was making. So I just kept creating. And Villager number 18 kept growing. And I expanded this huge cinematic universe. And I just kept starting more series with more and more lore that nobody was going to get. I made this Lego heist series, and that took off too. And from the outside, everything just seemed to be heading in the right direction. The channel was growing, the stories were getting bigger, the audience that I had built kept coming back. But underneath all of that, there's a question that I still haven't figured out how to answer yet. Who was I becoming? And more importantly, who did I want to be? Growing up has a funny way of sneaking up on you. One day you're worried about homework, and the next you're just trying to figure out who you are. And at this point in my life, that's exactly where I was. The channel was growing. Everything was going so good. It was beautiful. But I was asking myself questions I had never had to think about before. And for a while, those questions had nothing to do with YouTube. They were personal. I started questioning my identity, and at the time, I was trying to figure out my gender identity. And most of that, of course, happened quietly. I changed my Roblox avatar, experiment with different outfits, tried different names, just see what felt comfortable for myself. I wasn't trying to get attention. I was just simply trying to understand myself. When you're a teenager, these questions can feel a lot bigger than they probably look from the outside. And at the time, it just feels so overwhelming. And to make matters worse, at the same time, you have doubts. At the same time, I joined a Roblox community centered around the New York Police Department roleplay. It was just exactly what you'd expect. They played this Roblox game called The Streets. It was like a gang roleplay, I guess, but I guess we were the police. It was just another group of people to spend time with for me, until eventually they found out that I was actually gay. And not long after that, they also found out that I was questioning my gender identity. And almost overnight, the atmosphere that was being built really changed, and then the insults started, and then the harassment and the bullying and the arguments. It wasn't even just one bad day anymore. It became just something that I dealt with every day. Trying to figure out yourself is just difficult on its own, but doing it while feeling hated by an entire community and feeling like everybody's turned against you makes that much harder.
But now is your only chance, because when I get my name changed, I don't want the NYPD to have any sight on my channel ever. When I change my YouTube name, there's no going back. I'm deleting all my videos and restarting from square one. I will keep all my subscribers. You have until I change my name, which I think is going to be next month. I don't know. But when I change my name, now's your chance to download any video that you like throughout my channel and save it for times to come, and you can even post it on your channel. I don't care.
Eventually, it all became to be too much for me. The bullying was just too bad, and I announced that I was going to quit YouTube. I told everyone that I was deleting every video on my channel. Years of work just gone. And looking back now, it's really hard to believe that I came that close. And at the time, though, it felt like everything that I'd spent years building had just fallen apart because I had joined the wrong Roblox group. But thankfully, not everyone walked away. Someone named 607, which is still subscribed to my YouTube channel, and he's a very, very good person. He reached out and convinced me not to delete my channel. He reminded me that quitting didn't always have to be the answer. Another person, Risky Biscuit, helped me figure out who some of the people involved were. I don't know if either of them realizes just how much those conversations meant to me, but they mattered. Nowadays, as far as I know, they're all gone. Sometimes, all it takes is just one person reaching out at the right moment to change the direction you're headed. And over time, I ended up really trying to restart. I went through many different names, such as Penguins, TV Roblox. None of them stuck, of course, each of them lasting just about months at a time. And then, eventually, I just decided to stick with one more name. After everything that had happened, I figured that it was just going to be time for a fresh start. And at this point, restarting had almost become second nature. So, I changed my name one more time to DowogePlays. I hoped that this would finally be the one that stuck. And at the time, I had no reason to think that there were more changes ahead, because there was no drama ahead. And like every single restart before it, I came back. I came back with a simple payday video. It just didn't really feel like the beginning of anything. It was just another upload to me. Looking back now, I feel like it quietly marked the start of another chapter. Payday inspired me to build a car dealership in Bloxburg. I called it Teuer. At first, that's exactly what it sounded like, just a dealership, nothing more. It's more specifically the dealership from Payday 2. And I couldn't have known at the time that this little building would become the foundation for something much bigger. You see, while I was building Teuer, I guess for some reason I wanted to retire some of my old ones, that being Village 18 and Douglas respectively. So I introduced Mr. Fluffins. He wasn't really my real cat. I just kind of came up with a name, probably in the video actually. I think I came up with the name right there in the video. He didn't even talk. He was going to be another joke, a one-off character. And by now you can probably guess what happened, of course. People liked him, so he stayed. And I did not learn my lesson about making these temporary characters. I'm not sure what kind of warranted this next part, but I guess I changed my name again. From DowogePlays to Dowoge Films. That one lasted just about 2 days, until I finally landed on a name that finally felt right. Dowoge. Nothing else. There was no plays, there was no films, it was just Dowoge. After all these usernames and all these restarts, all these different versions of myself, I'd finally found the one that felt like home.
Subscribers. I don't know how I could thank you guys.
That same year, the channel reached 300 subscribers. But, of course, it was another milestone, but I felt different this time around. This one felt a little strange, because for the first time in a very long while, I wasn't uploading because I had felt like I had something to prove. I wasn't chasing an identity. I wasn't trying to reinvent myself. I was making videos because I actually enjoyed making them. And somewhere along the way, I had found my way back to the very reason that I had started. Because for years, my life followed the same routine. Something would happen, I'd make a video about it, and then I would move on. It didn't matter if I was excited, if I was confused or celebrating, or just trying to make sense of something. Because the camera was almost always there. And without realizing it, making videos had become the way that I processed life. Then, that stopped working. Of course, I didn't make much of it at the time, but that's only because I was still on that mindset. Looking back, 2019 felt like the beginning of something, And 2020 felt like the actual physical proof of it. Because for the first time in a long time, I wasn't constantly reinventing myself, figuring out what my channel was trying to be, chasing the rebrand. I was just making videos and I was happy. It was fun. And around this time, my videos started changing. Instead of making random uploads, I started connecting everything together. Characters like Bill's Rain Team, Douglas, Mr. Fluffins. I gave them personalities, relationships, history, lore. Everybody had something to go with. And I was building a shared universe. And it felt like every new video was just another chapter in this universe. And I loved it. And eventually, Mr. Fluffins got his own series, The Case of the Cracked Diamond. For the first time, Mr. Fluffins had a voice, with Douglas returning officially as the team's heist coordinator. And together, they planned to rob my casino, the Dancing Doge. And looking back, that story was ridiculous. And that's why I think it worked in the end. It was just fun. And for the first time in years, with the power of my friends and family around me, making videos felt fun again. And as all of this was happening, the channel just kept on growing. 400 subscribers. Another milestone. Another single moment where I just stared at this number wondering, how the hell did this happen? To anyone else, of course, it was just a number. But to me, it was 400 people choosing to spend a little bit of time out of their day with something that I had made. It was so surreal. Then, something happened that reminded me that YouTube could be more than entertainment. On June 2nd, 2020, I uploaded a video about the killing of George Floyd. I was 14 years old, of course, and I didn't pretend to know everything. Before making the video, I had spent some time reading, researching, and just trying to understand what had happened. And when I was ready, I spoke.
Especially with like everything going on right now, why can't we all have peace in this world?
I didn't exactly speak about George Floyd himself, but I spoke on something even bigger than just him. I spoke about peace. Just the want and need to just be able to go outside and be friends with somebody without fearing that you're in a bad neighborhood, without having to just fight all the time. At the time, even for somebody like me, it made no sense. And this wasn't the first time that I used my platform to talk about something of this sort of way. On December 6th, 2018, I had made a video called My Speech to Hate, where I had talked about a situation. Of course, I did not exactly describe it, but I was seeing somebody at school being bullied. And it didn't make me feel too good, is what I kind of said. And I wanted everybody to know that no matter what situation they were dealing with, I was there for them. Honestly, after that video was released, I kind of realized something, and that was that I liked talking about things that mattered. There were other ideas and other topics that I could obviously talk about, other conversations that I wanted to have, but I just knew that my audience was not ready for them. So I kept those ideas tucked away, waiting. But one day they would become some of the biggest videos that I'd ever make. Of course, I just did not know it yet. Then there I was on Christmas Day, 2020. I was at my grandmother's house, and the whole family was together. Everything was normal. Then, at around 5 o'clock that evening, I looked down at my phone. And my channel, right when I looked down on my phone, I refreshed the page, and it hit 500 subscribers. I was halfway there. 500 people subscribed and believed in me. The very next day, on December 26th, I uploaded a huge highlight reel celebrating everything that I had really accomplished that year. And looking back, I had already given 2020 a nickname in my head, the year of Dowoge. because that's exactly what it had felt like. Everything that I'd been working towards, everything I'd survived, everything I'd built, it was just all coming together. Everything that I had imagined had become real. And for the first time in years, I couldn't wait to see what came next. But unbeknownst to me, I had no idea what 2021 was about to bring. "2021 started the same way most years did. A little different, of course, because I was starting to figure out what I liked and didn't like. I canceled Paradise War once and for all. Mr. Fluffins stayed around, but of course Paradise War did not. I was still uploading. I was trying new ideas. One week I would be playing Friday Night Funkin'. Next, it was People Playground. And from the outside, everything looked normal. If anything, the channel looked more creative than ever. Of course, I wasn't all the way to the point of realizing that yet, because somewhere on the way, the reason I was making videos had kept changing, like a seesaw. And without noticing it, I stopped asking what sounds fun to make. Instead, I started asking myself, what are people going to click on? It's really a small difference, but it really changes everything when you're a YouTuber. One question comes from curiosity, and the other comes from worrying that people might stop watching. So even on the days that I wasn't excited to, I kept uploading, because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. And of course, something snuck up on me. More specifically, burnout. Burnout doesn't happen all at once. For example, editing starts taking a little bit more energy than it used to. Recording a video feels harder to do. Coming up with ideas becomes frustrating instead of exciting. You tell yourself that you'll just feel better after the next upload. Then you finish the video and then nothing changes. So you make another one, and another one, and another one, and eventually something you used to love starts feeling like just an obligation. Back then, of course, I didn't know what burnout was. I just knew that something wasn't right.
How am I feeling? So throughout my videos, I've basically been a bit not too happy. I've personally not shown that in videos, but I've certainly pointed it out on my Twitter, on my everything.
October 3rd, 2021. People sometimes ask if there was one moment that caused everything, but there wasn't. It wasn't like a big explosion, nothing fell apart overnight. It's just that everything that I'd been carrying for so long finally caught up with me. And I was just exhausted, mentally and emotionally. And more importantly, creatively. You know, honestly, I remember wondering what had happened. How could the one thing that I'd loved doing for years suddenly leave me feeling so empty? It wasn't just burnout, though. It was kind of depression. The kind that's just difficult to explain if you've never experienced it. Things that normally made me happy just don't. The videos and the ideas that I'd been making for so long that once felt exciting just weren't anymore. Hobbies that I had loved for years felt distant. I wasn't just tired, I was like disconnected from my very own life. And around that same time, an even scarier thought had started to creep its way into my brain. People weren't really watching me for Adam anymore. People were watching Dowoge. Every upload and thumbnail and intro, every single joke I made during my videos, it felt like I just had to keep playing a version of myself that wasn't true, that wasn't real, that just existed online. Like I had created a character, and just somewhere along the way, I had forgotten that there was still a very real person behind him. So I stopped. Not forever, of course. Just long enough so I could breathe. My uploads became less frequent. Sometimes they stopped altogether. At first I felt guilty, then anxious. And then eventually I kind of noticed something that I just haven't felt in years. relief. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't thinking about YouTube every waking moment. That silence really scared me, but I needed it. And stepping away forced me to ask questions that I'd spent years and years and years avoiding. If YouTube disappeared tomorrow, who the hell would I be? If nobody watched another one of my videos, would I still create? For years, I've been measuring progress with these subscribers, views, and comments, and watch time. Now, none of those numbers mattered anymore. I had 2 legs, and I kept running. But eventually, my legs just stopped, and I couldn't run anymore. I failed. But I had to figure out who I was without them. And for a while, honestly, I didn't know. Nothing suddenly fixed itself. Recovery wasn't one big moment. It was kind of a lot of small stepping stones for me. Building something because I wanted to. Playing a game for myself without recording it. Writing ideas that nobody would read. Creating without expecting things back. I'd forgotten what that felt like. Little by little, though, I started finding it again. Looking back now, I honestly don't think that 2021 was really the year that I lost YouTube. I think it was the year that YouTube stopped defining who I am. At the time, of course, it felt like everything was falling apart and crumbling all around me. But years later, I just kind of see it differently. Sometimes you don't realize that you're starting over until you're already on the other side. Of course, I didn't know it yet, but the next chapter had already begun. And it started with a building in Bloxburg.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Teuer would like you to put your hands together for the one, the only, Red for the Fox.
When I built Teuer, I wasn't just trying to create anything huge. It was, well, a dealership. You had a few cars in the showroom, just something fun I could work on. And of course, I kept building on it. But the best part was how it felt. I wasn't building because I thought people would watch it. I wasn't thinking about views. I just wanted to see where the idea would go. I'd kind of missed that feeling. And with the first, quote, reincarnation of Teuer, I wasn't thinking about how I was thinking about it back then. I was using it with Mr. Fluffins as a series, a way to keep going. But this time, I was just building it for fun. And eventually, something familiar happened. One building became 2, and then 3, and then 4. And every time I finished an idea, another one just appeared. What should go next door? Who works here? What if this place had a mascot? Before long, I wasn't building no dealership anymore. I was building a company. Then an entire world. And it felt awesome. Because without really noticing it, I had gone back to doing what I'd always loved most. Telling stories. The only difference was that now I was telling them with buildings instead of videos. Every world needs someone to welcome you into it. Mine, of course, was a fox named Redfur. Of course, at first, he was just a mascot for the place, nothing more. Then the same thing happened that had happened so many times before. He started growing and got a personality, friends, and a history. And soon, there was more characters than I could ever even imagine. Bootsy, Ashley, Alex, Bazzy, Ozzy, DJ Midnight. One by one, this cast came together. And looking back now, it's really hard because it's just really hard to imagine that the Motorplex would be the same without them all. Nobody was asking me to build any of this. There wasn't an audience waiting for another update. There wasn't an algorithm rewarding hours and hours of slop that I would produce. I kept building because I wanted to show what came next. I wanted to know what my story was. That excitement had been missing for a very, very long time, and now it was back. And around the same time, another creative outlet found its way into my life. Music. Not just listening to it, making it. Songs like Identity, Humanity, Personality, Future. None of them were perfect, but they didn't need to be. For years, I had used videos to work on whatever I was feeling. Music became another way to do the same thing. Sometimes, though, it said things that I just quite couldn't put into words anywhere else. The channel kept growing, this time hitting 800 subscribers. And of course, every milestone still meant something to me, but my relationship with these 3-digit numbers had changed. A few years earlier, I'd check my subscriber count constantly, and I would celebrate, but this time, sometimes I'd forget. Not because I cared any less, of course, but because my attention was somewhere else. I cared about more than about what I was making than how many people were watching. And that was new, and honestly, it was probably healthier. I had been building a story that I cared about, and eventually Teuer Autos became something much bigger, an entertainment complex, a place where every character that I had created could exist all together, and eventually it had its name. Redfern Friends Super Motorplex. Now looking back, it feels like every hobby I'd picked up over the years found a home there. Building, writing, character design, world building, storytelling, filmmaking, it all came together inside one big project. And without realizing it, I'd been preparing for the Motorplex for years. I just hadn't known that that's what I was preparing for. Looking forward for the first time since burning out, I was excited about what was to come next. Not because I had a plan, of course, but because I just wanted to find out. And at that point, I had no idea that the Motorplex would become a movie, or a television series on YouTube, or scripts that stretched for hundreds and hundreds of pages, and I definitely didn't know that I'd be spending countless nights arguing with myself over furries and fictional mascots, and of course their lore. All I knew was this: I was in a good spot, creating felt exciting again, and that was enough for me. You know, when I was 10 years old, I had a very simple dream. I wanted to be a YouTuber, and somewhere along the way, that dream changed. I still love making videos, but videos weren't the destination anymore. I wanted to build worlds, tell stories, write music, create characters. YouTube became the place where I shared those ideas. Not, of course, the reason that I had them, and without realizing it, the dream that I'd been chasing as a kid had quietly grown into something much bigger. Because for a long time, I thought success meant becoming a full-time YouTuber. That was the big dream. Upload videos, build an audience, keep doing it forever and ever. And as I got older, that dream started to change. Not because I loved YouTube any less, it just didn't have to be the destination. It could just simply be the place where everything came together, and I could just share the things that I had loved creating.
Creativity, imagination, and motivation. All this wouldn't be possible without you. And today, we all want to thank you.
And towards the end of 2022, the channel reached a milestone that not only did I spend years dreaming about, but a number that 10-year-old me could not even fathom about. 1,000 subscribers. You know, when I was younger, I had imagined exactly how that moment would feel. I thought I would jump around the room, I would call everyone I knew, celebrate like I won the lottery, celebrate like I'd finally made it big. I was famous, just like I said in my first ever video. But I didn't do nothing then. I simply smiled. That was it. I didn't smile because it wasn't important. It was. It really was. But just, I didn't want to let the subscriber counts decide whether I could be proud of what I was making. Because 1,000 subscribers wasn't the finish line. It was just another reminder that people wanted to come along for the journey. To celebrate, I brought back a lot of my old series, such as the People Playground series. I brought that one back for Season 2, which I ended up deciding to cancel. And at this point, we've gotten to what is essentially modern-day Dowoge. I've gotten a lot older, I've gotten a lot more mature, and I've put all the bad stuff behind me. Well, that's what I would have known at least. That everything's behind me. That's just what I thought. I was making videos on whatever was trendy at the time, and I was having a great time doing it. However, things started to unfortunately slow down as I began and, more importantly, continued my high school career. And eventually, a lot of people thought I was actually quitting YouTube because of how slowly I was releasing videos. And eventually, I moved YouTube out of my life, and I made it more of a hobby. My career choice was no longer YouTube. And that came with a toll. I was struggling to pull in viewers, and more importantly, struggling to deal with the fact that my viewer retention was just very, very low. I stopped using Village for My Teen and Mr. Fluffins and Douglas, and I was struggling to just deal with it all until I made my penultimate decision. Before we discuss exactly what I did, I want to tell you guys the problem. Just the attention span of the world in general. The attention span of people was going down at the time, and people started unsubscribing because I wasn't caught up with the modern day YouTubers who would have everything flashy and exciting in their videos. So I quit, and I quit for a while. I called it, I said it was done. I kind of just had a moment in my brain where I was just like, it's not going to be worth it anymore to make videos. I'd rather focus on my life and my partner at the time and just about whatever I could for my own self. And rather than the viewers that once subscribed to my YouTube channel, it was definitely a dark point in my life. I was still very, very depressed, and I was just someone trying to get it all done with school. I just wanted to be done. I had so much drama going through everything, and there was just so much stuff that I just had that was just going wrong with my life. And YouTube began to feel like a gamble. I wanted to be quiet and lovely, and I just had too much stuff in my life. I was putting YouTube before my life. Was the decision to quit a good one? I don't think so. So I took a hiatus, and upon coming back, I became more of a streamer and I edited less. I wanted to truly chase my dreams for YouTube, to change and be a different person. Not to be Dowoge, but to be myself, to live in the slow lane where I was myself, and it doesn't sound fun, because screaming sounded fun. And it brought me pain to really know that. It brought me pain to know that I was an annoyance to myself. It was a pain to realize that I was not me, I was a character. But like I did, I always made another video. So I came back. I changed my audience, my design, and everything. I wanted to become myself. Less kids content, and just more me. With that brought in my largest project, making the Motorplex. It's what it all led up to. Building the largest build in Bloxburg. Motorplex. Spanning over 30 Bloxburg plots, which I would be able to switch through, and a budget of $17 million in the game. And that series blew the fuck up. Like crazy. Videos really started to blow up again, just like how they used to when I was 10. And I realized that maybe coming back and just being myself and not a character was so much better for me. And it really made me feel like an actual person and less like an object, like a YouTuber who was only there to make videos, but rather as a person who did this for fun. I brought back everything that I had before, but on a much more digestible scale, with less editing and just more me. And eventually, people loved me. People loved me for me and not for Dowoge, and that really helped. Furthermore, I made a lot of these episodes of Making the Motorplex, but in between them, I made stuff like reacting to Instagram Reels. Just videos that were like actually entertaining, and I kind of got back on a very, very, very good grind where I was really working on myself. And I was really having fun for what felt like the first time in years. I was having fun on YouTube. And throughout that time, I turned 18 years old, and I was in a much better mental state than I was 3 years ago at 15 in 2021. I was getting ready to graduate high school, and I was just ready, it felt like. I was ready for everything to come my way, and later that year, I finished Redfern Friends Super Motorplex. Things were going so good. I had my boyfriend, my current boyfriend that I've been together for 2 years. That's really cool. Almost 3 years, actually. It's amazing. My life, it feels like it was upside down for so long. And then something changed, and I opened my eyes. And as everything came together, and as the Motorplex opened, I had an idea. One that would change everything. I wanted to make a show. Motorplex Misadventures was going to be my most immersive project yet, featuring several voice actors and voice actresses to show the day-to-day, or well, in this case, night-to-night life of the Motorplex band after their daytime concerts, showing off their nighttime hijinks. And well, of course, there was always a dent in my plans.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Alright, I didn't want to mention this at the time on YouTube because I wasn't sure that people would understand, but in early 2024, they found something growing inside my heart, more specifically scar tissue, and they told me that something would have changed my life to this day. I was going to need a 5th and maybe final heart surgery. Now let me tell you a quick story. A long time ago when I was just 2.5, or well, it goes farther than that, when I was born. Well, I have congenital heart defect, and I was missing one of my heart valves, and I needed emergency heart surgery. And every time they would do this surgery, of course, heart surgery wasn't as advanced as it is now. So they kept failing in a way, and they kept having to retry until eventually, by the age of 2.5, I had 4 open heart surgeries. And they finally succeeded on the 4th attempt. They finally succeeded, and I was doing good until they told me he was going to have to come back when he was 12. So I checked at 12, and they pushed it back, maybe 14. They pushed it back again, 16. And then I came back at 18, and we were just expecting it again. I was going to have to come back when I was maybe 20 or 22. And then they told me they had found scar tissue. And I wasn't scared, is all I can say. In a way, I was proud that I had made it far as I did on YouTube, so that I could be there when I made it through this heart surgery. I'd be able to continue making videos as myself. So I had postponed my show by a long shot, and I went into the OR. I had my catheterization, and I told my viewers that there's going to be some big changes coming. I had not expected that anything like this was going to happen in my YouTube lifetime, but I just always had a feeling. So I guess that was that. I thankfully survived my heart surgery, and I did a lot better from it. Before my heart surgery, there was a video I made back in 2022 called Hello Future Me, and it was going to be posted on the 19th of July of 2024. It was scheduled for 2024, and I had not realized that at the time that I would have been having heart surgery at that point, and I would have been getting ready for my 5th and final heart surgery. So that was kind of scary to me. So I reacted to the video, not in hospital, thankfully, but right after my catheterization with my favorite person in the world, my boyfriend, right next to me. And I had talked about what was going to happen after my surgery, and I set it out for 2026. That was that. I had my surgery, and I had a lot to come out of it, such as a more grateful approach on life, with a much happier look, and a less depressed outcome. I was more I was more happy with my body, I was more happy with my mind, and everything felt so perfect again. After my surgery, I definitely worked on myself a lot, and eventually later that year, more specifically in December of 2024, I released the first episode of Motorplex Misadventures titled Christmas Chaos. I had officially done it. I had created a show and people loved it. It blew up overnight, and I was so proud of myself. I was proud of what I've done, and for once, I just knew that I was no longer doing it for the money, but I was doing it for myself, my viewers, and for those in my family that loved me, for those in my family that cared about me, and more importantly, those who supported me along the way. I had also started making video essays, where I was finally able to talk about random topics, whether it be about games, or just about anything, really. these video essays blew up, and I realized I didn't have to follow a schedule. I didn't have to follow an idea, and I didn't have to be Dowoge. I could really just keep being myself on my YouTube channel, talking about the things that I loved. And that was awesome. I could be myself, and it was all going to be okay. In early 2025, I had actually began working on a very top secret project that I've been figuring out for a while. I was going to make a remake of Five Nights at Narwhals. One thing that I hadn't thought of for a very long time until I made a stupid reaction video about it. I came up with a joke idea saying that maybe I should remake it with shaders and mods and just everything.
So, let's talk about how I'd redo this, rebuild it. So, the place would actually be a lot better, like a lot brighter, a lot better building. I'd have a bigger exposition, maybe one whole episode dedicated just in the apartment with some, like, me talking to Village Number 10. I'm like, it's been a while since we've seen each other, and so we need some money. I think for the reboot, I don't want them to be billionaires. They're not going to be billionaires. They're going to be their same age, maybe a few years later or something like that. Because, like, I did quit, so it's going to be seeming like they haven't been on the channel in a while. So, like, we're going to be talking about, like, oh, okay, it's been a while. You haven't been on the channel. So I want to bring you back. And he's like, oh, well, I've been on vacation this whole time. I've been doing all this stuff. So I'm like, Bill's number 2, what have you been doing? And they're like, I used all my paycheck. I opened a pizzeria. I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, it's going to be a great way to bring back all the viewers. If you want to come back to YouTube, then you're going to have to bring me back too. And you're going to need to open this pizzeria, and you're going to star in it. Like, as a mascot costume? No, you're an animatronic. That is such a good premise thing. I'm going to make it better. I'm going to get some texture packs, shaders, high volumetric shaders and stuff like that. Motion blur, stuff like that. It's going to be kind of realistic. Sounds in the vents and stuff like that. All that stuff. I'm going to make sure this looks great.
And that's just what I did. So, on March 25th, a solid 7 years after the original, Five Nights at Dowoges 1 released to the public. And of course, it blew up, warranting a sequel called Five Nights at Dowoges 2 Reactivated. And at the very end of June 2025, I figured it was time to use my platform again now that my videos were getting popular. This time, to make a very more specific point that I tried to make so long ago when I came out and when I had talked about world peace. Earlier that year, I was actually outed to my family as gay. I feel like it wasn't hard for people to tell that I was gay, but I was outed anyway. So I officially came out, and then following that, I made a video called Pride and Prejudice, A History of Love and Loathing. This was a story that I'd trying to make respectfully for a very, very long time. And I eventually put it out so that way people would understand the true hate that the LGBT community got, and just how stupid this hate was. And at this point, I had a lot more subscribers than I did back then, and I was finally able to describe my feelings to the world. In October of that same year, Five Nights at Dowoges 2 Reactivated released, and then came the trailer for Five Nights at Dowoges 3 Election Year. I had been pretty almost ready to wrap this whole scenario up. I was trying to wrap up my old series for a long time, and it was finally time for me to do that. Motorplex Misadventures Season 1 ended off on quite the bang. A lot of people didn't like the final episode of Season 1, and a lot of people did. Mainly because it was the fact that it was rushed, and because I was unfortunately struggling with the loss of my great-grandmother at that time. It was very hard to really grasp the fact of what I was really going to be thinking about, but I had to focus on 2 movies, a show, and my great-grandmother who had just passed away. I tried to delay it, and it eventually came out as this kind of a rushed mess. In my opinion, however, as the fact that I'm currently working on Motorplex Misadventures the movie, aka Around the World, I can definitely say I'm not disappointing with this one. And here we are, in 2026, 10 years later. I really don't understand how I managed to make it 10 years on YouTube, and more specifically, how big of an adventure this has been. At the time that I make this, I've just completed and just released Five Nights at Dowoge's 3 election year in mid-July. I also have my first sponsor, which has really changed the way that I've made my YouTube videos. I'm very proud of this past 10 years, and I'm glad that I managed to make it through 10 years on YouTube. I'm very, very, very proud of what I've done, and I'm very, very, very proud of what my family's done. And I'm very proud of what I will do next on this channel. If there's a dream that I've accomplished throughout this 10 years, it's making a YouTube channel. And it's so strange how fast 10 years can go by, and it's so cool about just how fast it can all happen so quickly and just end up with something as awesome as this. I've been so proud of what I make, no matter how long it's been. Some days I go back to my old videos and I'll just watch my old videos just to say to myself, you know, back then I wasn't doing the greatest mentally. Yes, I was trying to do it for the money. Yes, I was doing it for subscribers, but I'm finally safe enough after this 10-year-long journey to say that I'm proud of what I do. Do I want to make money off of YouTube? No. Would I make it off of YouTube? Oh, sure, yes, absolutely. I will. I'll take it, honestly, because without YouTube, I wouldn't have met so many amazing people. I wouldn't have done so many crazy things, and more importantly, I wouldn't have had this crazy story in my life, this chunk of my life. This story is something that started because of a small idea in my head after I was watching Stampy Longnose and Dan TDM. In fact, all of my stories are something that stemmed from that one tiny idea. And this was the 10-year-long idea that I would never, ever, ever forget. So to everybody that's watched, subscribed, left a comment, voiced a character, believed in me, just thank you. Just thank you so much. It's so magical, really. I just can't believe that something small like that could barrel as good as it did. You helped turn a little kid's dream into 10 unforgettable years, and honestly, I cannot wait to see what the next 10 look like. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Dowoge, and I'll see you when I see you. Good night, everybody.